It is. It is. It is. It is. It's 10:15 on Monday, November 4th, 2024. Boogie with the Bull, Uncensored, Monday Morning Caffeine. Dave Glovin, Michael Anthony, Randy Rhodes are with us. Chuck Cook may join us later in the broadcast. Uh, and we're live on the Dave Glovin profile over here on Facebook. We're live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. I'm going to start the broadcast in reading a post that I just put up on Facebook about 25 minutes ago. So I'm told the result of Donald J. Trump being elected president tomorrow is Dave Glovin will become a rock star. The person who told me this means Dave Glovin will finally become a globally syndicated political broadcaster that will use Boogie with the Bull to help find the cure for dementia and Parkinson's. Why? Because it's out there. And there are people who gave fortunes to people who want to help find the cures. Michael J. Fox has a foundation that has raised over $800 million. If I could, as a rock star, donate another $800 million, I bet the foundation could find the cure and the pharmaceutical partner give it away for free in capital letters. To me, that's what a rock star would do. Now, I can't promise if Kamala Harris is elected president tomorrow, she'll do her best to make it's found and given away free. But I can tell you for sure that deep state emperor Brokus abomination will probably never allow her to do this. So you ponder that when you stand in the voting booth tomorrow. If you look up at God and say, I have to vote for Kamala Harris, you should do it. And I should hold you responsible for not becoming a rock star and helping find the cure. Because I just don't think Democrats have any interest in it. That's ad-libbing that I added. Yes, I think you are responsible for not helping us find the cure. I think that Donald Trump, working with whoever would actually be a president that would actually look for that to help citizens of the United States of America. The thing you need to do tomorrow, Tuesday, November 5th, is pull the red lever and vote for Donald Trump. And then my favorite time to kick ass, no more bullshit, Donald Trump meme is below it. And it's on my profile, and anyone who wants to take it can share it. And then hit me off is more than welcome to come to it and flip me off. So let's go. Michael, you want to start it off?
No, Randy can have it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so everything you said is spot on, and we watch TV and we use streaming because we just don't pay for Comcast television, and I take notice that one streaming network is fair. It does one Democrat commercial, one Republican commercial, one Democrat, one Republican. But there's this other one, I won't mention which one it is, that is constantly broadcasting Democrat commercials. And every now and then, if you're lucky, you'll get one Republican commercial, which I know is illegal as hell. I think it's illegal for them to post more Democrat advertising than they do Republican. But throughout her,
it's not illegal to post more Democrat or Republican commercials. The rule is a fairness rule. They have to make the same amount of time available. So if they are going to allocate, say, six hours in the course of a 24-hour day to political ads, they have to divide that up equally and sell half to the Democrats and half to the Republicans. It does not mean that either party has to buy their time, but they have to equally offer it to them. I'm sorry.
Okay. So almost every commercial that she had, she claims that when I'm president, I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. And, my wife and I yell at the TV like it's going to do any good. But, she and Biden have been in office now 4 years, and they have control of the one house. If they truly wanted to make a change in this country, they could have done it. The biggest one is to shut down the damn southern border. Right there would end a shitload of problems. And the Republicans would be on board with it, and they would vote unanimously, yes, shut down the border. But the Democrats don't want the border shut down because they want those votes. And we know damn well, we have proof of it, that they've been doing their best to allow the illegals to vote in the election. Because from what I've seen and heard from Michael and other podcasters, is that right now it looks like Trump is in the lead and the Democrats need those votes. So besides the dead people, they're going to allow those illegals to vote.
That makes me wonder why I've been seeing this new sign also that says "Dogs for Harris." Maybe
Oh my
that
God.
refers to something else. But what you have here is the she. What is the she? She's a liberal, socialist, Marxist, communist, authoritarian, political opportunist dictator. Her support venue that she does have is only trying to infiltrate to protect her and themselves of all of their involvements of the wrongdoing as has been exposed. So, what are you really working with here when you think about it? Big words, they all have meanings, they all have truth behind them. And with the swipe of her pen, she can make it all happen. That is what America should fear the most. The fact that she says that and what she will do. What she cannot do is make a promise to people about Roe versus Wade or anything else like that subject matter, because she is not and will not be the authoritarian of the law above Congress. Congress has to approve anything that they will allow her to sign. Executive orders will only go so far. So that's one thing that everybody out there on the left needs, to understand why I put up a blue stamp now today in the last 48 hours of what we have left to basically say to these people, get rid of them, get them out, be the difference for your country. Understand the components and the mechanisms that have destroyed us for the past 4 years. Unless other people wake up in the final moments, we are where we are right now today, and we won't see any difference, except for the fact that people will go out to vote for November 5th. Tonight in Pittsburgh, they shim-shammed a show to occur now. Canceled from Point Park, at the point where the three rivers meet, where all the stadiums and all the nightlife exist, was to be moved. And it's secret. It's still a secret. It's secrecy behind it so far before me even coming on here. Where is this supposed to take place? Now, Oprah Winfrey will be there. The teary-eyed J-Lo, who's scared to death of the truth coming out about her and her involvements with Ben and all these other P. Diddy components and scenarios. And Lady Gaga was here with Biden and couldn't even pull a crowd in Pittsburgh in 2020. So, here we are looking upon all these big words. And the fact is, she remains to be the political opportunist that self-appointed herself to the position without receiving a vote. But that's how, some of these candidates and the facts of the candidates show truth that there is a selection, not an election.
If she is defeated by a landslide, and I mean a true, huge Trump-style landslide, will she be done as a Democrat? Meaning that she can be a Democrat, but they're not going to ever have any use for her again. What do you think?
Well, it's like man versus machine, like I said before. The biggest thing is the if part, the particle of that. If there is a particle of truth within that, it's only because how they have orchestrated the layout, which Randy mentioned earlier about what we see on TV, what gets promoted, who gets on Saturday Night Live, who gets their voice out. These people are what we're fighting against, these idols and rock stars. If they are, and you can call any one of them truly a rock star because of how they got where they are and what they did to get there. That doesn't always come out. Now, there is a handful of really good people out there that fought through the machine and got themselves fame. And, my hat's off to a very limited amount of numbers of who they are. But where will she go into the future? This will be her demise in my mind. It will be a demise, and that's why she even says, we need to do this together now. That's why she is also telling people at her rallies before the microphones turned on, go home to your spouses, even if you have to sexually influence their
Oh
decision
my God.
to vote for me. Do it. Yeah. So I mean, look, I really get into the dirt of the nitty gritty, but this is where this person of liberal support and sexual activities come in. She's looking for something outside of the normality and function of what we see in life in our lives today. But she
Okay.
will play that dirty. She will play that dirty. She will try to divide in a family right now while we have a candidate that always supported family values.
Okay,
Christianity.
hold for a second, Randy.
You know, this election, like everyone's been saying, is the final attempt to save our nation, to save our people. And everything that Michael is saying is spot on. It's as good. It's good information, good facts. And the left will do whatever they need to do to pull out this election. And I mean, telling people, telling their spouses to go home and have sex, so your husband or your wife, whatever votes for her, that's kind of ridiculous. But when you look to see all the things that have occurred up till now to prevent Trump from even being on the ticket, leads me to believe that come tomorrow, and I want you folks to know right now, I'm going to go to bed early tonight, on Tuesday night. I am not going to turn on any electronic device until Wednesday. I don't want to see another steal like I saw last time, but I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to pull out all the stops to make this election go for them because they have too much to lose. And that's why, she's bringing out the Hollywood elite to bring into the people to try and get them to vote. Hey, well, if all these Hollywood elite, support her, so she must be good, I'll go vote for her. Trump didn't go that route. I didn't see him pull out, the Hollywood elite that, support him because you know why? If they come out and say, I'm a Republican or I support Trump, they're going to get blackballed. It's happened before. It will happen again. Their careers tanked when they came out as Republicans. And they actually even came out on video and said that since I come out as being a Republican or supported or Trump, I've lost all these, phenomenal scores or movies that I could have been, a part of because of my political viewpoint. Folks, it's up to us, the individual, to just plain Jane and plain John on the street to vote for Trump. Vote like you never did before. Get the numbers so damn high that we can see the steal when it happens, and hopefully someone's in place to put a stop to it. We have Elon Musk, who has all his superpowers with electronics. Hell, I just saw a video of him. He's building robots. He has this one robot that can play football. Oh my God, I can't believe it. He has this ship that's ready to go off to Mars. So if he can do all this, I hope to God he can watch and expose any type of steal taking place.
If he if Trump is elected, which we assume is what is going to happen, Elon Musk has expressed interest in some kind of a budget czar position where he wants to make us seriously work on paying down the national debt. Which is 30. He has a plan that in his first year as budget czar would knock $2 trillion off of the gross national debt. He said that it might make things a little hard on us in the beginning, but the only way to pay down $35 trillion is to cut out a lot and make it and pay a lot. And if we cut out a lot, we probably save $2 trillion in a year. Michael?
Well, let me ask you this. My understanding of how finances work, if I wanted to go to the bank and borrow $1 million to buy a house, well, what do you have for collateral, Mr. Rhodes? Well, I have my car, I have this, I have that, I get some money in the bank. Okay, so we'll give you the money because they know if I default on the loan, they're going to take my shit. With the nation being so badly in debt, let's just say, the wherever the money came from, they got tired of waiting. The payment on the interest only bullshit has gotten to be too much for them. They want their money, and the government's gonna say no, we don't have it. What did the government put up for collateral?
I don't know what they put up for collateral, but China owes us probably trillions of dollars in tariffs that they've never paid us. Michael, what do you I mean,
Yeah, I've heard that said before, but I've never.
What do they get for collateral what did China get for collateral when they loaned us a couple of $1 trillion?
Look, everything financially is a made up factor. They write down numbers and they appropriate them numbers into a matrix system where there is nothing doing anything and it doesn't even exist, but we see a number on paper, which is imaginary. It's not even a factuality. So they can do anything they want at any given time. They can take people further into debt without even using the value of $1, without even pulling the trigger to a gun. They put you there, and they need nothing to do it, which means you need nothing. Now, what is a bank? A bank truly doesn't give money. They're not allowed to give money. A bank is a mediator between an ally of the funds, and it's up to the ally and the bankers to decide whether you're worthy or not. On what degree and what level they do it, it's hard to say because one day it works for one person, on another day the same criteria will not work for the other person. There's no conclusive answer to it, except for the fact that people need to understand, because a bank works within numbers and greenback nothing every day that you go in to pay your bill to. It's only a transitional system. It's not a bank. What people think is a bank. The money and nothing else comes from there. They are only papers holding the product for an entity. Get it? And the further they can take anyone in any country and any person on their path into slavery, conducting a system that truly doesn't work, but it will get us things. But by getting us things means they get you to commit to slavery. Until you pay it off, until they get their interest, until you work, until they can take the taxes from your paycheck, and the list goes on. The criteria grows. It goes when you go out and you pull money out of your pocket and you go to the supermarket and you go to Walmart, you go to Hillary Dix. It doesn't matter where you go, where you shop. There's other tax components nestled on top of that. That is a breakdown very fast of what this system is. It doesn't even exist.
So do we not have a $35 trillion debt? They just decided it could scare us if they said we owe $35 trillion?
Look, if you listen to what I just said, it's all a facade. Now, does the facade help and do things? Yes. People utilize this matrix, and that's all it is, of a system that is there but is not there working. It's a made up board game like Monopoly.
Okay.
Please understand the factuality behind that component of what I'm saying. I understand that we all think it's there and they're doing something, but again, they are just mediators of what the component is that's working for something above that. And that is called the slavery system. Their slavery system is ran by many names that people have said, and people know the information above and beyond that. But all they are is the handlers. And we all have handlers and we all use handlers, and they handle us to get other things that we want, whether we have a sufficient amount of money to put down to a positive amount to be loaned and levied. That's how the system works. And as I say, it may work one way one day for someone, and the exact same criteria for another person the next day, it may not function like that, and that there is a decline, meaning you're declined of a loan or maybe other things, a car, but it still comes down to a factual of component of loaning. But they are only a paper holder that transitions money to come from a system where there is no money, and they put a false number on it that says, hey, okay, so then that false number goes on to the auto dealer. And the auto dealer says, okay, congratulations, you own this brand new truck worth $75,000, where in fact it loses how much value the minute it rides out the door. Right. Look, it's a setup all across the board. All across the board, it's a setup.
But I understand some what you're saying, but I don't. Is there collateral involved with our government when they borrowed money from other countries? So for an example, China says, it's not even China owns this money. Let's say country A wants to borrow money to do whatever. Okay, so country B is willing to loan the money to country A. So does country B say, I need collateral or some form of security on this money, so if you default on it, we get something back? So will they do like a Statue of Liberty or a mountain range or land, or use as collateral? And if
the United States doesn't have any collateral left.
I figure that.
Yeah, it doesn't. But that's why the real estate industry needed to jump. So that was the part of the plan. The economic forum said the only way to do this, to make the numbers blanket across evenly and smoothly and make it look logically, is that we increase all the real estate. The real estate jumped through the roof the last 4 years. It really did. I mean, we saw $200,000 going into the realm of $350,000 in value. Well, how did that come about? Well, if we put a heavier taxation on things, that's one way. And, even in Pennsylvania here, within Pittsburgh, they have already submitted paperwork to be voted on of a 46.5% increase on property taxes in the sanctuary cities. This is not just happening in Pittsburgh. It's happening throughout sanctuary cities. So this is how they can re-aggregate loaned money and build back better program scenarios and gifts and grants to make things. But why? Why? What is the special cause behind it? That's where everybody has to keep their eyes most wide open. Because, again, it's all a political system, and it's all nonsense. And go ahead, Dave.
But you, as a landlord, which you are in the Pittsburgh area, they raise your property taxes 46%. They've got to understand that you're going to raise your rents. You're going to have some tenants that can't afford to pay 46% more rent. So what happens?
Well, see, that's the other part of the scenario. What they're trying to put in place first is a new policy of what you can charge for rent. So before they slam you, it's just another way of saying eminent domain. We're going to eventually take everything and you're going to have nothing and be happy. It's part of the setup. Okay. So yeah, they want to now, hey, let's make homes and housing and rents more affordable. Well, by doing that, it will suppress what one's entitlements truly are when we look and weigh the information on what the worth is out there and what the market is calling for the worth to be worth, if that makes any sense to you. And then you come back once you get that into place, and then you get this to get pushed through by having people with leverage and power named Carmela. This will take us into that next segment of why I've used all these words like liberal, communism, socialism, Marxism, authoritarianism,
Right.
political opportunism,
All the isms. All the isms.
dictatorism, whatever statism is and the isms, just like a drug.
Whatever your
You
favorite
look at the
ism is.
drugs and what the drug names are, they all reflect the same endings, just like your social security number. Anybody can get your first several digits. It's the last four that make the difference.
That's why they always ask you, to identify yourself by the last four digits of your social security number.
So,
My landlord's already told me, Randy, so you know what I'll be raising the rent at the end of the year, and which thankfully, my wife and I both, are on disability, so we could get that increase at the end of the year as well. So we're maintaining equal balance here with money coming in and money going out for the rent. Um, Now, if he does something horrendous like $100 increase, I hope he doesn't. That's gonna really make it hard on me. But
it's usually 10% when somebody raises. I'm just saying.
10%. So,
If you pay 1,000, it's 11.
Okay, so if it's 1475, it's what?
$140.
$140. Damn.
47, yeah,
Yeah,
1475.
because last year he raised by 50. So I hope it's not 100. That'd be nuts.
Well, here's the problem that you're not seeing on the platform of the scenario. We're in this focus point of the economy where it's just not about the safety of gouging is removed or the pricing within the essential systems. It's now become electricity, insurance payments, and things like that. Upkeeping, expectations for upkeeping, expectations for future upkeeping in case a roof needs put on. And when roofing goes up because labor rates go up, I mean, look, this doesn't have anything to do with gas or freaking oil. Everybody sits and talks. Well, if you do pay a penny more at the pump here, there, and the next day it's 2 cents. The next day, well, that doesn't seem bad. But at the end of the year, we're paying $2 more a gallon. Well, it works the same way. It's just they're hiding the factor of how they're allowing the element to work behind Marxism, authoritarians, dictating a policy of what is the proper procedure and ways politically and what they support within the political status of politics. It works in bigger foundational ways is all I'm saying, including the bank, including all this. So it's a complete trap. And Trump is the only one that can break the trap. In ways. I'm just saying. And I can't wait to see where that may go, win or lose or draw or whatever you want to call it as we go into the future.
Yeah, Trump actually has 4 rallies scheduled for today. I think he has some for tomorrow, but I was watching his one live one briefly before the show started, and he was saying how, just ask yourself, folks, the one question, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? So I did some looking, and this one person posted a picture of some meat. And for 3 pieces of, I think it's a prime rib. No, it wasn't prime rib. It was a ribeye cut, something like that. I mean, it was $50.
Yeah.
And then I said, then I asked Siri some questions. I said, what's a dozen of eggs in 2019? Was it an average of $1.40? Now it's $3 per dozen. A pound of bacon back then was $6.95. Now it's $9.98. Milk back then was $3.04. Now it's $4.02. And just on and on. Now, I understand, generally things do increase over a period of time because of all the economics of higher price in labor, mechanicals, and what it takes to bring the product to the shelf. I understand that, but um, when you have this woman who claims that she's going to help the middle class people, all she's going to do is help us go into the grave a lot faster. And I thought it was kind of funny too. They have their people going out and taking down names from tombstones, putting them on ballots for the election. And I started following this couple, this husband and wife on Facebook, and they have this device. You might know what it is, Michael. But they go out to the cemetery, and supposedly it's picking up voices from the grave.
Voice recorder.
And it's pretty cool, And Michael might be able to talk to this about realistic or not. Some people think that just picking up voices from around the area, as opposed to actually coming from the grave.
That would be a baby monitor. This is kind of what you're thinking about.
Yeah. So Michael, okay. So Michael, you have the experience. Am I hearing the voices from the tomb, or is this make believe?
Well, the one thing that the government doesn't want you to believe in or research in more than anything paranormal is the supernatural. And they do suppress information on shows on what type of content that they are allowed to release and publicate to the public. So there is suppression there as well. It's everything where the foundation that they are within. We know that they are satanic. Aleister Crowley, okay? I mean, come on. Members and best friends rubbing elbows with all the elites. Black magic. These are programs that actually exist within the government. Our monies and tax dollars have helped that, because if it's small and it doesn't seem to affect us a lot, it doesn't matter where the money goes. Here's the saddest part. We could have a tiny tax on every dollar in America, and that would be enough to support America. But if they can get the grand slam, to happen, which they have done and succeeded with, then there's monies that can be allocated for every fundamental wrongdoing and project that feeds their pockets back on a greater amount in many ways. But going back to the thing, do we hear voices? Of course, there is something more tied to everything. They know it. That's why they are proceeding in CERN. That's why they wanted this collider to possibly open and get more information from. And when we ask, where does the information come? Where did technology come from? Maybe it's because they find their way in through that door. Maybe there's something more to these mediums that are, and every president in the past, many of them have had mediums help them, guide them through the White House. Why was that? Think about it, because if you do look it up, you'll find out that's factuality. The same as a factuality. Why did Abraham Lincoln border up the South?
Why did he what?
Border up the South.
Border up the South.
Yeah, basically he sent our ships, our military ships, to block the border and port entrances. Why did that happen? It's history right now under Trump repeating itself. It's not that it's already happened once before. It's how far you go into doing your research. Even if you're going to talk about the battle with this or the battle with that, it was all propaganda. If we have a gun, somebody leaks the information to another country, so they start making a gun. That way, the war is fair. It lasts longer. We have casualties of the death equal on both sides, and the money keeps going. The machine keeps activating. If you were to send in the F troop, okay, with guns against people with sticks and stones, what would be that result, and how fast would the war be over? We can't have that. That's the example of how life works, why they do what they do, and how we got where we are.
Well, that explains why Russia hasn't been able to defeat Ukraine, because they're not actually just to fight in Ukraine, they're fighting the United States because we're providing Ukraine with all these sophisticated equipment.
But
Well, North Korea just arrived over there along the border perimeter of where the UN had decided to start placing certain things that blew this all up out of
right,
proportion anyway.
but isn't the truth in the end that really it's the United States defense industrial complex that in the end is really funding or selling, will eventually be selling weapons to Russia to defeat Ukraine. At the same time, the United States government is sending pallets of cash over to Ukraine under directions from Joe Biden. You will only use that money to buy the weapons that we're going to sell you, aside from whatever is going into Zelensky's pocket and the pocket of every corrupt legislator over there. Because, like I said, I'll continue to say it again. I think every time Zelensky gets money from the United States, he calls his buddy Vladimir and says, "You better check your Venmo card because we got $70 million and I just sent you $10 million or $7 million, whatever, And because, like I said, if Putin wanted to win that war, he could have won that war without firing any nuclear weapon of any kind. He could have just gone in there and crushed them, and it would be over. And to hear Trump say, when I'm president-elect, I can make one phone call, both of them will be on it, and this thing will be settled in an hour, and, that's it. He doesn't say whether or not Russia pulls out. He doesn't say whether or not Ukraine and Russia decide to work together. He just says, I got the solution.
Well, many things had to be active in play so it looks calm, even though there's war breaking out everywhere. These components are the components that will actually factually probably help Trump because they are in play. If something was to happen and suddenly we saw movement everywhere, it would be news everywhere by us. Not maybe by media news, but news everywhere by us. So isn't it more comfortable to know that there is something in play waiting to try to keep things off at bay before this election? Because many people, many countries are now backing Trump. And we see this taking its good old time, and Russia can never win. They're not winning. Now, Russia could walk over them, and they've never used or pushed the button on anything towards anybody, except for the fact where he knew he needed to go. And those were the areas that he attacked most heavily. These underground facilities and systems of human trafficking, etc., and drugs and creativity and fentanyl. Those are the places that he kept his mind and his mindset towards. So, anybody can speculate a lot of things here, but I'll just say this. Be happy that the components are in play because they are actually protecting us in this election. Otherwise, they'd have made other drastic moves on the American people. Why suddenly in the last 3 days, a rash of tornadoes came out? What is El Nino? And how is El Nino responsible for it? It's responsible for it because HARP and other people created a system of weaponry out of weather modification and control. Is taking down now voters' power, and people can't go. And the most heavily populated red areas. That's what also that has come to light this morning. Why is that happening? It's to suppress. We have 244,000 that could vote in America. Only 145 to 163 will maybe make it out to vote. And we got to hope to God that they do. And we got to hope that the majority is on our side. I do see that she does have strength in a couple states. But outside of that, I don't see a bunch of strength. I see a bunch of failure. And I think everything we've exposed over the past 4 years has brought us to this part of the game and scenario that we led. Not Q, not 17, not a military informative group that was placing all these scenarios out there of probabilities that never occurred. But the fact that we worked hard with a man who took and looked at everything we were doing and narrated into a system of how to eliminate and to get back into the White House to be a savior, the saviors of what we know as a republic. And maybe, in fact, these things are even more in play than we realize if we think about the fact that, 1-9 may have a very credible sense of what we should open our eyes to. When the takedown, if it factually occurred, but if we put that in play, the takedown of the America Corporation, then by military law did do something, and Joe's inauguration was just a funeral component that was pull the wool over the American people's eyes, then this whole element of what could happen could become way more dangerous. It will have a different type of outcome, but it doesn't mean we'll lose.
Okay. Now, Regina says they called the National Guard to the Capitol. I'm assuming.
Well, more than that, but they did.
Okay, but I'm assuming that the Washington, D.C. National Guard, which is probably not very large because the smallest state, if we had it as a state, is fully entrenched in protecting Washington, D.C. and will probably need the help of other National Guards in the day. Does that mean that Joe buys the National Guard in order to be able to call them up to protect the Capitol and the White House? Because they're not just state buildings; they're federal buildings.
Yeah, they're landmarks of the most corrupt organizations in the government. What is Washington, D.C.? If you look at the layout of how it was built and constructed, it's satanic. The Pentagon is a pentagram. Right. People need to understand this, okay? The obelisk that points to the sky comes in a sector of a pyramid triangle. The layout of it. So you've got to understand Mossad infiltrating America, already being occupied by other people running our governments. When you look at AOC and the Squad, and what was that all about? And Marxism coming out of Walter's mouth and Pelosi's mouth for people to be called into action to go out and destroy and vent your feelings. And no, it's a political nightmare of opportunists trying to take over a country that was already occupied and prepared for all this to happen. So them putting these people in place is to protect their asses, protect what they believe is rightfully theirs, not ours, under any matter of concern, because we don't matter. We are the animals in their society. And in many ways, some of that has come true when you look at what the welfare checks did and why Reagan tried to put people back to work and why Trump was trying to put people back to work. It's because if you allow yourself to become a part of a program, your children will become part of their program because they are actually supporting your children. They are actually, not they, but they are making it look like they. It's us, it's people, voters, the workers, the ones who actually work that pay the taxes to keep this country stable and for the money to get fed out everywhere. So you have those types of things. But look at the layout, the District of Columbia. What are all the ties of the Masons and more that infiltrated this country, that started narrating us on this path? Again, right now in an election, probably none of that shit even matters, even though it's factually true. But we can at least talk about some of these things that way, and we're not going to have all the answers, but the answers are there if you do the research. And if you do it, it's going to make you wonder why, and these things that make you go, because there is a big adjective within that. Yeah. So, I mean, who's to know, Dave? We're all over the place between corruption, lies, disinformation. Yeah. But, it's going to be the ones that lead and that have tried to lead by the information into where we are now so people know how to vote.
Regina brings up another interesting point, which we've all talked about. The machine not going down easy because they don't want to be part of Diddy. I'm going to look at the machine right now straight in the eyes and say, didn't the machine create Diddy? They built Diddy's machine because they wanted to. They built Epstein's machine because they wanted to. So isn't right. So that machine's not going to go down. Diddy may go down, but Diddy's machine isn't going to go down. The government will just take it over like I think they did with Epstein.
Yeah.
Well, has Diddy released any? I'm not sure. I mean, Diddy is in prison, so
suicide watch.
So I'm a suicide watch. So I'm going to assume that he is in a cell by himself. Would he not benefit getting out and maybe house arrest on some island somewhere, enjoying life, if he would release the names of those who came and participated in all those sex acts?
No, because the government doesn't want him to release the names, because if they release the names and it turns out, I think, that 75% of his list say his government employees in any capacity, that hurts. Because I personally think it's going to be just like Epstein, that, he's going to, he's either talked and is either running the operation, continuing to run the operation, but for the government, or maybe against the wall and has gone to meet his maker, and the government just took over. But what do you think, Michael?
Has anyone seen Diddy lately? Has anyone seen him to make sure that he's still alive?
Evidently, Michael Tyson has met with or talked to him by phone. I don't know. And evidently, Tyson claims that he told him, Diddy, that, forget about what you hear about people in the world. You're at the bottom of the food chain in prison, meaning what you did, which actually puts you on the top of the food chain to be attacked for doing what you did while you're in prison. So, other than that, I haven't heard of anyone who's visited Diddy other than maybe his lawyers, who might be visiting him just to make sure he's okay and he's not getting.
I would think he, I don't know. Thankfully,
Michael.
Thankfully, I've never seen inside of a jail or a prison, but from what I hear, okay, and from what I see on TV, if that's real or not, men are in a prison, and you would think that the prison would provide, medicine or whatever to reduce the desire to have sex. So you would think that with Diddy being once a very important, very high up elite Hollywood person, now he's in prison for what he was doing. You would think that if he was open to other prisoners, that they would be having sex with him and making him their bitch or whatever. I mean, is he being protected in that respect?
They probably are. But from what I hear, if they are, it's because of what he's accused of doing, and some of the things that he's accused of doing are things that violate, I guess, the code of ethics that prison society has. Michael's kind of shaking his head yes and no, so Michael can probably put it into better words than I just did. But Tyson was I believe, saying that, a rapist, a child molester, a whatever in prison is not considered someone they want to be in prison with, I guess. You know, you go to prison for robbing a bank. You go to prison for stealing a car. You go to prison for not paying your bills. You don't go to prison because you molested children or raped someone. You deserve to go to the prison cemetery, maybe.
Yeah. Well, don't we know that they have protected pedophilia? They had a different. We were within a different time in 2022 when everybody was talking about this, and the scenarios of why these people act the way they do. It'll be interesting to see who Joe Biden pardons. But beyond that, we can't take anything off the plate. There's a lot here to consider and think about. But one thing you can think about is you can't pardon somebody from something they have not been yet proven they
Right.
committed crime. So I don't think Diddy's going to be on that foreframe of Joe's scenario where he could help him. However, he'll probably help his son in some way and try to protect the Biden crime and scenario thing. But
Can
as
he, as president, pardon Diddy, even though Diddy has not been convicted of a crime?
no, he has to be convicted of a crime and sentenced to prison in order to pardon him from that. He is not. He's an intermediate, and I think they're watching how they did this and how it will go. So I think the reason they're calling he's on a suicide watch is because they're trying to protect him because they can't afford, in a way, to have another Epstein episode to occur. But it doesn't mean that that's not part of the scenario. What we will see, like John McAfee, and look, they didn't need him to be in jail to get to him, but did they really, in fact, get to him? Who is alive? Who is dead? If Trump wasn't in this as hard as he is to win it, why is he in it at all if all these people are in fact dead or in Gitmo? Because they're not. He is actually fighting the swamp right now. And everybody needs to keep remembering that. But, hey, look, we're in the last 48. Everything we do between now and the last minute tomorrow at 8 p.m. is what's going to be the difference for America. Wherever you are, doing whatever you're thinking, if you're still waiting, conclude, finish your research and go with your gut feeling. I don't care if you go for the other side. Just get your ass there, do it so this is over. Let's put it behind us. Let's move on. Let's start making America great again.
Right.
Even if we come to some other type of disaster. And I don't disagree with other people's opinions because I was one of the most boisterous when it came to the fact that saying these people are not going to just gracefully give up. They are not. They are making everything look like they need to win it now. So the win doesn't put them in a place where they create a catastrophe on the American people or a person within the Americas, or maybe even more than just one of these people in America. And where's the technology versus a gun? They supersede us on every level on what they can do, and they don't even need a weapon of mass destruction. They can use frequencies through the radar systems, that spike protein that's been developed all over the earth that sends out radiation and frequency waves.
Through the towers that look like phone towers here in Florida. When I first moved here to Florida, I said to people I know, why are there cellular phone towers literally across the street from each other, or 4 on one corner? And people said to me, they're not all cellular phone towers. They look like them, but they're not.
Yeah, they're not. They never were. And some people said, well, they're 5G. Well, they are in a way, but they have different magnifications of power by how far you
on different frequencies.
By how far you turn up the dial. And then you can put frequency codes in, ones we can't even hear, that will make you deathly sick and give you even symptoms of COVID. So you're confused. And with
I can't
that,
get confused anymore.
Well, no, it could create a lot more confusion.
I'm so confused, I can't get confused anymore.
Yeah. Well, okay.
No, I just meant. I mean, it was a joke,
It's all good. Go ahead.
a bad joke. I mean, I'm
It's all good. It's all good. I'm not worried about it. Look, we can all say what we need to say. I think that's the most important thing at this point. It's over.
yeah,
I'm satisfied to say it's over. I'm satisfied to say I worked my balls off for the past 12 years.
yeah.
And loudly on Facebook for the last 8, and even today putting up, you know, uh, the things that I do and that I've done, trying to say anything that I can to ward off uh, people from, not doing the wrong thing or to waking up to the right thing, knowing when we make these comments and posts, this is part of that machine. People say that nothing's occupied us, nothing's changed us. That's bullshit. Look at your life. Look how they demean you right here on Facebook by telling you, "Are you sure you want to post this?" I mean, come on. A threat before the fear before the threat. If you post it, you could be terminated. That's basically what they want you to think. And maybe in many ways it's factually true because you have to live it and experience it to know it. And some of us get taken down for whatever the reasons are. Some by law, some unlawful.
Stupid reasons. Stupid reasons.
That's I
I'm
I
in
lost.
Messenger. Hang on just a second, Randy. I'm in Messenger, like I said to you earlier, Michael. I'm in Messenger, and because I'm looking at something that somebody sent me, I haven't even shared it. I try to share it to you or someone else on Messenger. I get slapped with a lifetime sharing restriction before it even posted.
Yeah. Well, that's why I can't find you many times when I wake up in the morning. You just seem to vanish, and other people
Well,
do, and
no,
that's okay.
today was my fault. I was posting things and I took my eye off the clock and I wasn't set up in time. Uh, so I apologize on that. I should have set an alarm so that at 9:30 I would have stopped what I was doing and writing my editorial posts today and paid attention and had my studio set up and been ready to go. So that was my fault. That does happen.
It's like you guys know a few weeks back I lost my group. I lost my one page
Yep.
because of something that I supposedly said. Blah blah blah. Um, and then today, yesterday, I got this notice from Facebook saying, "Oh, we're sorry. Our AI made a mistake. We're going to reverse, the penalties against you, and this is what you can do to." So what the hell? I can't bring back what I lost. They probably deleted everything,
No, they
but
no,
just. But so now I'm rebuilding, and but the fact that they, like you're saying, the Facebook is slapping before you even think about doing something, which is ridiculous.
well, they do. And sometimes even if you give them the proof of what happened, they don't back you up either. I mean, I had a situation where a group was literally stolen from me. We won't go into the reasons why and who or whatever. And ultimately, it came down to me saying to Facebook, go back and look when the group was first created here on Facebook. Who was the group owner? Me. Look at who the group owner was the day the group was stolen. Me. Or they actually said, you. And I said, so you can't prove? Same thing with the Dave Glovin account that has the gone insane profile picture. Same thing. Look at who created it. You did. Look at when it was hacked. Who was the owner of that profile? You were. And you can't just give it back to me?
Look, I've had many groups taken
I
from
know
me.
you have. I know you have.
I've had many, and I don't really care anymore. I don't. I don't know if there's a reason to even care about it. It's sad when patriots fuck over patriots. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But, always remember people that throw stones that don't ever live in a glass house.
Right.
Um, These things create wars. Anger creates wars between people and patriots, comments, opinions. And, how do we get out of this narrative of negativity? I don't know. I hope I never have to live it again. And I don't care where they are, what they're doing. I don't care that groups ban certain political content because I'm not a Tucker, I'm not a Hannity. So what? There was a time and place when their viewership was probably lower than mine, and I don't really care. These are what I call the diaper generation. They haven't been here on this earth as long as I have. They haven't lived what I've lived through. They are going by what they believe is proper content, and that's how they exist. But it doesn't mean their words any stronger than any of ours. We're going to always be in this place of complication. All I think we can do is a society, a good society of humanity, is to move forth, walk away from the bullshit the best we can, and do what we can, because the main objective to all this was about saving the children, protecting the children, removing books out of schools that were just totally improper to be left in schools to teach these children this stuff. Get rid of the handlers, get rid of their agendas, get rid of the economy falling apart, breaking down because they created it. It can be turned around in a heartbeat. There's not a doubt, but it's going to take time for that turnaround to take the proper effect. We need to stop price gouging. We need to bring the economy back into an area where it's livable for all people. We need to protect the senior citizens, the health care. These are the things that are more important to me, and that should be more important to everybody else out there than, hey, I lost the group, I foiled again, and does it mean something? Yeah, because it was your work. It's something you were compassionate to. It should have never happened. I've had group woke up and seen group name changes. I didn't give the authorization to change them, but yet they changed. And everything that I put in place 4 years ago was to take and guide people, hopefully, with the strength, it was removed. That and I seen other things came up that made no sense that everybody else wasn't doing. My mindset's just in a different place, I think, from everybody else. But we've all suffered the same consequences many times with many things. And all we can do is stay strong and fight it. Go ahead, Randy.
No, I just glanced over to my other screen. I'm doing a bunch of stuff right now, but while you guys are talking, and I'm listening, I am listening. Apparently, Ukraine and North Korean soldiers have locked jaws and are fighting each other right now. Michael, the other day, I'm not sure who the guy was. Someone with the Pentagon. He might have been Secretary of Defense, some idiot. But anyways, he said that Russia has crossed the red line, bringing North Korean soldiers, and that if they have evidence that Ukraine and North Korean soldiers are actually fighting, that's when he's going to release the American military to engage in a war against Russia. Am I correct about that? And if what I'm seeing now with Ukraine fighting North Koreans, is that what he's talking about, to unleash our soldiers to fight against them?
Like, it could be, but what I first got through what I was understanding was that Korea showed up in defense of Russia. So now you're telling me that they are in place on the side of the UN and Ukraine. So
no. What I'm saying is, North Korea has soldiers now in Russia, fight alongside Russian soldiers against Ukraine. And from what I just saw, the Ukrainian military has engaged in military actions against the North Koreans. And if that is taking place now, well, that guy who opened his mouth and said that should that take place, we would then have to activate our military to fight along with Ukraine against Russia.
Yeah, well, I would say this, and that's probably why I said that a little earlier, that if everything has to be in a place, it won't be so devastating as if nothing ever happened and it all had to come in at once. So there's many things here working around us, and there's many things that were paid for objectives, fake wars and fake intel and fake media and fake news on the media reporting behind this. Same as 9/11. Fake, 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 protect, protect, protect. The Building 7 fall where all the information was. It's kind of the same thing, the domino effect. So if you have to bring something in, and other world countries are not thinking in the same way, under the same pattern of thought as the evil ones that are controlling most of this scenario, that would be devastating on the American people and probably bring it to somewhat of a stop, because America would be looking. But with everything in place, even though somebody joins in the effort, that may only be because they are actually trying to show the strength stepping in to help protect the future of humanity, and how that will work. As Trump says, he knows how to make it all go away in a moment's notice. It's when you tell me that, it's because you're part of what the system is working within and the functions within it at the same time, acting like a president without being a president because of political clout, because of political, maybe you can call it wealth. But the fact is, people love Donald J. Trump. They want to see something different from what we have. And I'm just thinking that I'm just thinking what we're seeing. And I want to be clear about how I say that is it's just part of the show. And this needs to take place before the Big Bang event.
I wouldn't want to be one of those, as many as 11,000 people that Kim Jong-un sent to Ukraine to help Russia win if it's declared a draw and everybody goes home. Because if you fail Kim when he gives you an order, he's been known to take care of you, but not very kindly.
Well, let's say that's true. Let's say that could be false.
What?
We could say that's true. We could say that could be false. I mean, it's what we were shown. It's what we were dictated. Okay. Does that mean factually that he did it the same way when they said there were weapons of mass destruction, and it had to do with 9/11, but it had nothing to do with 9/11? But they needed a narrative to go in, and weapons of mass destruction, where none were ever found, were part of their strategy to infiltrate a country and kill thousands of children. No, it's bullshit.
The funny thing about destruction that may or may not have been in Iraq is, don't you think we gave the world enough notice and so damned insane enough notice that we were going to come in and look for them, so that if they were there, he had more than adequate enough time to ship them over to Iran, regardless of what state they were in? He had more than enough notice.
Now you know how the game's being played.
It's 5-level chess between Trump and Putin, but I don't believe that so damned insane and Ayatollah kissed my ass many times are equal to, or able to play 5-level chess. So yeah, I'm sure that so damned insane kept Ayatollah Khomeini out of Iraq by funneling weapons of mass destruction into Iran for 1 billion years, or built them for Iran for 1 billion years, rather than became part of Iran. But I'm just a guy who, you say something and it makes me think about something, and then I go and look and prove it, rather than a guy who actually proves it before I say it.
Well, I think we're all meant here to be doing different things the way we are, and we open people's minds, and it wakes us up in moments when we don't even know that it will. And sometimes just talking about what we're talking now, my phone is collecting data on that as we speak, and it's giving me information that will start showing up shortly on TikTok and Google and everywhere else. Their own enemy against us is giving us all of their factual information working for us. So remember, the technology, depending upon whose hands it in, whose voice it comes from, is what is the most important factor behind it.
In the end, will TikTok become an enemy of Facebook only because there came a point where
I thought it did. They wanted to ban it.
Facebook kicked people off because they were telling the truth. TikTok embraced them because they were telling the truth, but then the problem was they weren't only there on TikTok telling the truth, they were taking their TikTok truth and bringing it back to Facebook. And that seemed to be okay with Facebook.
Right. And that's what the CCP got all up in arms about and told the United States, shut this information down, because the CCP is the most dangerous component. It's not the citizens of China in any way. They're in the street hoping Trump wins. But this is the system of how it works.
And are you saying the CCP agreed with Trump or whoever at the time to shut down or sell TikTok? That they didn't. I mean, they have a seat on Beijing ByteDance's board of directors, but they agreed. They would have just shut it down. I mean, if that's true, why didn't they just sell to Walmart and Larry Ellison? Because they were all set and ready to buy it.
I can't answer for why they did not buy it. Okay, what I can tell you is when governments work together, when military works together, because our country's ran by military. It's not really ran by presidential, parties. That's why Milley separated himself from Trump and tried to embarrass Trump publicly and said I would have never stood with him, nor would I have walked to a church with him, because they are part of the system of the corrupt, of that intel. But when you have something that they fear working that could possibly, put them into place of who truly was punishing their own people, that would reflect back onto the China's, militaries and intel, because they were one of the ones that were truly doing it, not the ones that they were making mention of mass destruction or this problem or that problem, and these people were villains. No, that's just the product of how you were born. And when you're born, you go into school, and geography used to tell you how terrible the Germans were. Well, maybe they were, but how terrible the Russians were. Hate everybody, love America, apple pie, Chevrolet, and all the good things. But the point of the matter is, it was a guidance program. Everything has been placed and put in place by guidance. That's why the rich funded the pharma. Everything was there in place, because if they fund it, they know how to teach it. And that's why doctors come out and you tell them, well, I don't know, I got this big cyst on my leg, and he tells you, no, it's a hematoma, it's nothing, you go home, you'll be fine. And then sometimes we find out that they weren't even right. They made an analogy of something and determined it as a totally different medical condition. That's why it's called also in law and in doctrine, practicing something. Practicing medicine, practicing law, because there's no end on either side. It's win, lose, or draw. If it's your day to be lucky.
I never understood that term, practicing law or practicing medicine.
Because that's all we do is practice.
I know, but license, which means that you have the knowledge to do it.
Does it? Where's our spells? Where's our spells to convince you, just like mandate was?
You would think that if the rules say you have to pass the bar in order to be a lawyer, or you have to pass the AMA, whatever it is, course to become a doctor, and you pass it, that you are one. I know that most of them probably hide that term of practice because the rules say you have to do so much continuing education to be able to continue to be a lawyer or a doctor. So you're right. It's probably all a semantical BS word, Dave. Nothing more than word salad, which is something that Kamala Harris, if she does in fact lose the presidential election, could probably make $1 million selling a program called Word Salad. You just type in whatever you want to say, and it spits it back to you in as many words as it could take.
Well, look at my personal experience. You talk about medical practice. So I go to one surgeon, and he says that my right knee has to be replaced. So he's well known in Lancaster County. Everybody loves him. So okay, let's do do it. So he replaces the knee. I go to therapy. The therapist said, Randy, your kneecap is moving. It shouldn't be moving. Go back to the doctor. So I go back to the doctor. He said, no, that guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Your knee's fine. Go back to therapy. So I go back to therapy. And the guy says, look, your kneecap is moving too much. I am not going to be responsible for any kind of damage to your knee. You need to get that taken care of. So I went back to that surgeon. He said, there's nothing wrong with your knee. If you don't believe me, go to Hershey Medical Center and get it checked out. So by this time, my left knee is giving me problems. So I go to Hershey Medical Center, and the guy there says, Mr. Rhodes, the right kneecap that was replaced is the wrong size. It's too small. And oh, by the way, your left knee went bad, so that has to be replaced as well. So I went to a different surgeon, had both knees replaced. I was in so much pain, and all this guy was doing was giving me massive amounts of pain medication. Finally, I went to a third surgeon who put a camera down my knee to find out that the glue didn't hold the knee together. And for 2 years, I'm walking around with the knee falling apart inside my leg. So I had to have that knee replaced for a third time. Tell me about that's practice. I mean, if you can't get the damn thing right, you're practicing your
And Michael, he's got no financial recourse or no recourse
no.
for what they do something similar in Connecticut.
There is no, that's not true. That's not true. There is malpractice insurance. That's why they put some of these in place. I just don't know what now the law
right. See, I did contact an attorney about it because the second surgeon told my wife and me in his office that the first surgeon put in the wrong size. So the lawyer said, if you can get him to tell that to me, then we have a solid case.
Right.
So we went back to the surgeon for follow-up. I mentioned about the attorney. Oh, I never said that knee was too small. I don't know what you heard.
Well, that's what they do.
They protect each other.
My case in Connecticut was a psychiatrist decided to change my bipolar med because she thought there was something better, and she did, and it messed up.
Look, guys, I gotta get going. My time is up. Mike, it's great seeing you again. Maybe we should do this again, the three of us. But I gotta get my day started. I got some phone calls to make and some things to do.
But I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow night, Tuesday. I don't know if there's going to be a Tuesday night live at 7 p.m. It depends on others that may be doing an election special night and what time they're going to start. I can't be on later than 8:30 tomorrow night anyway, so.
No, I'm serious.
Keep you posted.
I am not going to watch any politics tomorrow because I think my blood pressure would just blow my top of my head off. Because if I see the same thing I saw last time, where Trump's numbers are going sky high, and all of a sudden they take a dive. I'm saying, guys, if we have evidence that if this election is stolen, and if we have the evidence to do it, and we don't do a damn thing to reverse it, then we deserve what happens to us after the fact. My personal opinion for what's worth. I gotta go. Take care, Michael. See you.
All right, Randy. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Michael. Anything else you want to go for a little bit longer, or you on your? You got to start your day too.
Well, my day started at 5:30 this morning, fighting back for America as I try to do every day. Last minute thought.
You said earlier about your.
You lose your voice at the beginning of every sentence.
Your property taxes are going to. I mean, but what's sticking out in my head is you're a businessman here in the United States of America. You've got a decent real estate portfolio, which is something that only most Americans dream they could have.
Anybody could have had it. It takes hard work and devotion. Right,
but they're going to increase your taxes 46%, but they're not going to let you increase your rents percent total on the properties that you rent out. So it's like to like eminently bankrupt you, and you'll be happy for it.
Well, in some ways, it's to suppress society too. They do look and understand the method of existence for people. And if you go back to breaking even, that would make them happy. Nobody should just be in anything to make one's life to break even. But that is the strategy of the cradle to grave system in many ways. Some of us turn out a little better through it. Some of us were born at different times where the cushions were better held, in accountability was kind of placed to support people. We go through these systems of good and bad, and the good, just being a cushion, is no longer acceptable. It's unacceptable. We need freedom. We need more. We need to thrive. We need to have the American dream restored. I hope that's where we wind up tomorrow. I mean, I'm not done on my thought. I think we have all the components in the right place. I think the warriors in America, the baby moms, and all the nicknames for all the strong people out there have done their due diligence to make that happen. I thank all of you for doing that. No man should ever be better than any other man. And that's my ideology of what I think about it. But again, as long as there is some upper scenario in place, we're going to always have a battle somehow, some way, or a disagreement. But at least we know if everything comes out and does remain the same in many ways and takes a lot of time to repair. Remember that the best focus that we have is how we did everything to help the future and to save the children and to stop some of these criminal activities that we see and all these people that are a party to. And remember, you're seeing everybody with her. When I said it months ago, went down in Chicago, when all her supporters, her entourage showed up in support to her, who we were fighting against. And their voices are now being heard. Bill Clinton's out there. Hillary's making comments, going on shows. Barry's out there. I mean, these are the people and the focus of why you need to vote red and pull that lever, and why we need to take down the blue, because they don't care about humanity. They care about an agenda that helps a focus. And while everybody's thinking that, oh my God, I'm going to vote for her because she's going to do what, well, wait till she gets here and see how much she really gets done. And wait till that day affects you. And everything that they do has an effect back onto their supporters. That's why we're seeing them diminish, seeing them retire, seeing them step down from positions, because they are in the fear of God right now being exposed. And they have families, they have parents, and they have more. And we've done a great job of bringing it out. And so has many other people on big news scenario podcasts and more.
They're going to be broke and they're going to like it.
Maybe.
As opposed to Trump's going to get elected, they're going to retire, they're going to be broke, they're going to be in jail, they're going to get busted.
And, I hope he uses every means of the laws that do have the empowerment to strip them of everything that they've ever received from us through our tax dollars.
I just hope that he will be able to still be president and focus on what he needs to do while the Justice Department, under his Attorney General, will be in the background doing all of that. Because if he's only coming back to do just that, he's missing the point, and we're not that we want to bring him back for. If he does, and then the other question is, he says that he won't run again if he doesn't win tomorrow. So that's another discussion that we need to have. Who will be ready to run in 2028 if, God forbid, Camzilla is coronated queen in January? But anyway.
Well, right now, everybody's anxious. Social anxieties are through the roof. We're all worried about the same things, but I would say like this: focus as positively as you can. live today like you would live 20 years ago, or, within a new future of everything being better and cured. Give yourself some moments in time today that way to focus yourself. And, if we all work together doing the same thing, maybe we'll learn what the facts of some of those beliefs and ancient beliefs were, and the realities of how we can change this system of time where we are at. But do the best you can. I'm going to do the best I can. A lot can be talked about after, good or bad, and hopefully it'll all be for the best. But remember, we are right now in a place, not just through role models and idolisms being lost, it's much greater than that, because it's man's versus machine. And yes, we still have problems. Yes, we problematic in all these other scenarios, and what happened in Venezuela and how they created this machine all to take place and to create a new president. And then suddenly, the United States needed to have this machine. But yet at the same time, as I posted, and I put boldly in a post, their own words saying within the criteria of their concerns how bad Dominion truly was. So it is man versus machine. Hopefully, Elon Musk has things in place, and maybe some of the superpowers of our military and space force are watching from above. And anybody who tries to interrupt through codes will get zapped. And I don't know how the zapping completely would work, but I'm sure it would block any participation to corrupt the machine's true information.
Yeah.
There's a lot here, Dave. I mean,
There's so much. There is so we haven't even really scratched the surface.
no.
Tomorrow, if I become a rock star tomorrow, the concert tour has yet to be planned, and once it's planned, it'll just be a totally different world after tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. I don't think I will be awake enough. So I don't think I will be awake tonight when I will be sleeping. But I hope when I get up tomorrow that it is Donald Trump. And I can only say I hope he does what we need him to do, and he does it as quickly as he can. Any final words, Michael?
Pull the red lever.
Pull the red lever.
Have a great day, everyone.
With one hand or both hands?
Whatever it takes to get it done.
All right, Michael. Always a pleasure. Thank you for joining.
All right, later.
All right. Michael Anthony, 10 o'clock talks, Studio 10 Broadcasting, American Disclosing, Uncensored, now part of the Oracle Radio Network, which is not just internet radio, it's real radio, it's real television sometimes. A fascinating opportunity for Michael Anthony, and you should watch whenever you get the opportunity. And sometimes Michael can't get it shared to Facebook. If you are watching Michael when he is on an Oracle Radio Network program, he'll usually let you know when he's going to be on and tell you how to get over to Oracle Radio Network and find him. Share it on your Facebook profile, in your Facebook groups, anywhere else you can share it. Share it off of Facebook. And if you need ideas of where to share things, I would say everywhere you are on Facebook, or excuse me, everywhere you are on social media, aside from Facebook, share it there as well. Don't know what the future holds for us on Facebook, and it probably won't happen. No major changes will happen to Facebook if there's going to be any major changes until the next president is inaugurated in January. So, we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin. I thank you for the privilege of letting me abuse your time. Bill Reese watched, Regina Musier watched. Lynn Richard Simmons. Lynn Richard Simmons was the first person to watch today. Don't know if she actually made it into the chat room. I hope you do. When I see someone is watching on my monitor, I will say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is to you, and hopefully get you to try to get you into the live chat, because it's more fun to be part of the live chat than it is to be watching the program. I will ask people indefinitely, because I don't know how long my sharing has been limited to only 3 groups, which means that, you know, it's hard when you share to 50 to 75 groups, maybe more if I can get away with it, in the course of a broadcast to try to pick 3. So if you're watching a Boogie with the Bull Uncensored broadcast, I would appreciate it if you would share it everywhere on Facebook that you think it can be shared. And even, yes, I'll break my cardinal rule, take it from Facebook and share it off of Facebook. But if you're going to do that, I really appreciate it if you would go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and take it from there and share it off of Facebook around the internet. As a podcast, then let me know. We're kind of limited in what we can do right now as far as sharing things live. Like I said, we're limited to 3 groups that we can share to when we're live here on Facebook, which makes it very difficult to try to get the broadcast out to everybody. We want to get it out to every day. As I say, every presidential election year, the results of this presidential election could lead to the ethnic cleansing of conservatives and patriots off of Facebook. And if that happens and I'm one of them, do not worry. There are other places that we can land on. We will land on YouTube for as long as we can, while we're also setting up landing on other networks that welcome conservative patriot broadcasters. We will not abandon what we are doing. It's not about trying to become a rock star. I'm very happy with the broadcast. On a good day when we can share to 50 or more groups, we get 150, maybe 300 people watching. Michael and Anthony and I have a broadcast from last Thursday, which was up at 1,100 people have watched it totally since last Thursday when we did it live. If you give me a second, I will scroll back. If I can get back far enough. Well, no, right now I can't get back far enough. But we'll see. There we go. We'll keep going. Wait. Is that it? No. That was Randy Rhodes said I am Bill Erector. From a day ago, that's up to 151 people have it watched. And that was only on 3 shares. But if I scroll back far enough, Michael Anthony and I, like I said, were on last Thursday. And I didn't check it this morning before we went live. Bill Michael and I are up to 571 people on 77 shares from last Friday. Bill Michael and I are on with Red Friday Morning Caffeine every Friday morning at 10 o'clock. And let me scroll back there. Michael Anthony and I were live last Thursday night with 104 shares and up to 1,100 shares right now. It has to hit 1,200 shares before that will update. 1,200 views on Facebook, I think, before that will update. So people are watching, but like I said, in the event that we are not on Facebook because Kamala Harris wins the election and we get locked out of Facebook, do not worry about it. There will be other places we will go. We will be on YouTube, live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel as long as we can. We will do whatever we have to do to get us live on StreetLock, StreetLoc.com as quickly as possible. And some other places. And we will do whatever we have to do. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on getting the word out. I'm not giving up on getting the truth out. We will do what to do. God told me, when you need the tools, I will give you the tools. So we left the world of Android and Chrome, and we're on a beautiful Windows 11 Pro laptop with a lot of people giving us advice and helping us through getting it set up and building something right. And I'm just enjoying doing what we do as often as we can do it. Matter of fact, tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on the American Rebellion blogger page, the American Rebellion blogger page, not the group, the American Rebellion blogger page, 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. Watch the American Rebellion with Jerry Michaels and company. Nick Young will probably be there. I will probably be there. Maybe Jen Woodruff will drop by. Maybe Robert Lawless, the Minnesota Madman, if he sees it, might even drop by. That would be great. A lot of other people I would like to see. I'm very glad that Nick Young is back. Maybe Matt will come back. Maybe others will come back. I don't really know. But it would be a whole lot of fun to watch the broadcast. And maybe if you've even thought about doing a broadcast before and you've never done one before, you can ask Jerry for the link and he might invite you to come on and be with us. That's the American Rebellion, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday here at 7 p.m. on Facebook. Also on Tuesday and Thursday, when there is no American Rebellion, we have Boogie with Bull Uncensored Tuesday and Uncensored Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock, if my wife Donna will let me push it. And on that note, go to the Family Treasures Facebook page. Family Treasures Facebook page. I will get the link and I will post it all over my profile and groups and Facebook news feed. I want you to go to the Family Treasures Facebook page. Like the page, follow the page. You will see the shade items by my wife Donna and our daughter-in-law Angela. And from time to time, you'll hear where they are at craft shows in and all over Florida. And you can go and see the stuff in person and actually buy some. And if you don't see what you are looking for or in the colors that you would like to see it in, you can always message Donna or Angela and they will make it for the colors that you want. And if you can't pick it up at a craft show or in person here in the area where we are, then it will be sent to you, and shipping is always included in the price that you get. So, and the prices are actually pretty damn reasonable for the quality of the stuff they get. So go to the Family Treasures Facebook page and tell them that I sent you, because I have my F-bomb, which one of these days I'm going to get the crocheted F for it. I have my red, white, and blue octopus that is going to continue to be on my desk. And I also have my favorite. I have to adjust my camera so that you can see him. Red, white, and blue loaf kitty. Patriotic loaf kitty that needs a name. He watches all of the broadcasts. You can see him up there in the corner just above my shoulder. He watches all of the broadcasts and takes notes on who does, to make sure I thank people for watching. So let's see. Like I said, tonight we'll be on the American Rebellion at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Depending on what time, if the American Rebellion holds an election night special, we will be on it. Otherwise, we will do something at 7 p.m. Eastern and just talk about it for a little bit. And by 8:30, we will be done, because, like I said, my new sleep med kicks in within 30 minutes of taking it. I had to use something to improve my sleep, because I was having some very broken sleep with my dementia and other things going on in my head. So you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, it is coming up on 12 o'clock. We started at 10:15, so we did 11:15 and 45 minutes, so an hour and 45 minutes. So it's pretty much getting near time for us to go. The last person to tune in and watch is Robin Brunson. Robin Brunson is one of our favorite people watching. Robin Brunson, if you ask for a Facebook coffee company or a coffee company on Facebook to try, Robin will tell you Fat Cup Coffee Company. Go to the Fat Cup Coffee Company Facebook page, take a look around, go to their website, fatcupcoffeecompany.com, I believe, or fatcupcoffee.com, and take a look around. They sell flavors, they sell roasts, they sell all kinds of coffee beans. They will grind it and send it to you. They will sell you a grinder so that you can grind the beans yourself. My father, when he was in the coffee business, said the best thing to do is to buy your coffee in whole beans. Get one of those vacuum seal mason jars that has the thing that you pop down and it holds the air in it. Get one of those. Keep your coffee beans in it whole. Keep that in your refrigerator. And just before you brew your coffee at any time of the day, take out enough beans, grind them, and then make it. And use cold water, the coldest water you can get, to keep your favorite spring water cold in the refrigerator, and pour that in, and or however you can get the coldest water that you can and use that. Anyway, we can talk about that forever. But go to Fat Cup Coffee Company's Facebook page, take a look around, go to their website, take a look around. If there's any means on their order thing, they ask how you heard about it. Tell them you heard about them on Boogie with the Bull. Because I really wanted to talk to them about a sponsorship announcement, and then we just kind of had a series of technologically poor broadcasts, as well as I just was kind of not focused where I needed to be with the broadcast, so I did not approach them. I'm getting ready to contact them and approach them again. Why? Because I believe that their house blend coffee that Robin sent me is the closest to the dark roast Italian that my father used to sell coffee business. And just on that alone, I want to bring them in as a sponsor, which means that hopefully they will, in lieu of giving me money, they will give us Fat Cup Coffee and Fat Cup Coffee Company gear that we can give away on Boogie with the Bull broadcasts. That's what we want to do. We don't really want your money to have you as a sponsor. We want gear that we can give away and bring people in and talk about your business, a few times in a broadcast, and help bring sales into you. That's what we want, because it's not about making money. It really, 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 really isn't. It's not about making money. It's not about merchandising anything. It's just about helping businesses that can help us. Some of it is about money. Restream costs $19 a month. We'd like to get up to a better pack a month so that we can have more destinations and be live on more places at the same time. But that's something that we'll talk about and we'll worry about. Tuesday, November 5th, is a very important day. When you go to polls, make sure you pull the red lever. Vote for Donald Trump. Make sure you pull the red lever on every every Republican running that is listed on your ballot. You can't just do like you used to do in the old days, check the Republican running for president, and that automatically got your vote for all the Republicans on the ticket. You actually have to vote for each off lever on each office, pull that red lever, and show your support on all the ballot questions. And you have to be very careful when it comes to the ballot questions, because I will not be able to apologize to the people of Florida, because on question 4, the abortion question, it was worded so that yes, meaning that you would think you supported it, means no. And no, I guess, means that you wanted the bill not to pass. So, I believe that parental consent for anyone under 18 should be required on an abortion. I do support the cases where abortion should be an option. I want the government out of making the decision. Does my daughter, does my granddaughter, does my wife, does my daughter-in-law, does anybody, any female, have a right to make an abortion decision? If you want to, and that's what you want, you should be able to go ahead and get one. But the government telling you no, you can't make that decision is not right. Period. I will end that argument by saying that abortion should never be a form of contraception. Okay? If you don't want to have a child and you're doing the deed, there are things you can do, not always effective, but things that you can do to prevent having a child. Okay? God created the deed to have children. Humans took the deed and created it as a form of pleasure. So if you don't want to have a child, then don't. You know, my parents wanted to have children. They had 5 of us. I think my mother wanted 6, but they stopped after 5. I was the middle of 5 because my parents were both registered independents. One leaned toward Democrats, one leaned toward being Republican. I grew up wanting to be Alex P. Keaton. You know, I don't know if they would have had anyone. But anyway, you understand what I'm saying. The government needs to be removed out of so much of our lives. And I don't even mean, and I mean even state government should be removed out of so much things in our lives that we should be truly free to make our own decisions. And if it turns out to be a bad decision, then you learn from it and you move on. If it turns out to be a great decision, then you understand and you do whatever you have to do to keep it being a great decision. You know, will Donald Trump, when he is elected president tomorrow, sit down in the White House on January 20th, deportation in the history of the United States of America, and maintain it and finish the damn border wall, secure the southern border, the eastern border, the western border, the northern border, and return us to sovereign we had? I hope so. I honestly really hope so. Please go to my Facebook profile and read the post I wrote about dementia and Parkinson's and figuring out which president I thought actually would give a damn about it and help create or foster in, if it already is there, a cure for dementia and Parkinson's. Why? Because I wouldn't wish either one or both on anybody. And as a rock star, if I become a rock star tomorrow, because I'll never believe that I'm a rock star anyway, if I became a rock star tomorrow, that's what I would do. I would hope that Boogie with the Bull broadcast could raise $800 million a year and help Michael J. Fox fund his Parkinson's Foundation. Okay? Because my hero, Alex P. Keaton, has Parkinson's. He's a few years ahead of me, and he is living the life and proved to me that you can live with Parkinson's and still enjoy your life and do the things that you want to do. So I would, as a rock star, become a major benefactor to the Michael J. Fox Foundation if I could. Okay? Because if anybody is going to find the cure for Parkinson's, it's going to be Alex P. Keaton. Okay? Dementia, Parkinson's, bipolar, other mental illnesses, whatever you want to call it. My hero, Robin Williams, will always be with us, and we will always think about him. The only thing I can say is leave out of concern about being a burden to my family, because I'm already a burden to my family. They put up with me. They love me. I love them for putting up with me. But don't ever think you're a burden on your family. And if you think you're a burden on your family, then it's time to sit down and talk to your family and have them understand why you think you're a burden or why they may think you're a burden, and talk about it and get it all worked out. Okay? There's more to life than sitting in a, I don't even know what size dimension this room is, 24/7, doing Facebook broadcasts, being a group owner, being an admin, you know, doing whatever. I mean, I enjoy what I do on Facebook. I really do. Facebook is the best video game I've ever played. It allows a guy who probably has no chance of ever becoming a social media mogul to sit here and be a social media mogul. I have groups, I have broadcasts, I'm on broadcasts. You know, been here for 15 and a half years, almost 16 years. And I enjoy being here. I have a lot of fun. Spend about 18 hours a day doing it. I don't need to spend 18 hours a day doing it, but you know, there's good things you can do with it. There's bad things you can do with it. There's bad things that get into your head. There's good things that get into your head. It doesn't really matter. It's not your enemy. Okay? It's your friend, but it is your enemy. Anyway, you do what you got to do. But you got to get out and walk around outside and breathe fresh air and listen to people and talk every once in a while. My wife pulled a good one. On Saturday, we were at a craft show, outside craft show that she and Angela are going to hopefully be at over the next few weeks and maybe permanently forever. I don't know. And as Donna and I were walking past a bunch of booths, the person behind us said something about pull the blue lever. And my wife saw the smile on my face, and then she looked at me and said, just keep walking. And I did. But I also tell my wife, I go to these craft shows with her because I like watching and seeing her booth set up and her having a good time. And she and I are making a lot of money. But I'm also probably the only guy that supports Donald Trump that goes to those craft shows looking for the Trump gear. So if you go to those booths, to these craft shows, and you set up and you got crafts that are Trump related or red, white, and blue flag related, t-shirts, hats, whatever, send them to me. I'll wear one on the broadcast. And if you're in Florida and you're going to be at a craft show, let me know. I'll go there and I'll buy one in person. Anyway, I digress. I could probably sit here for another 3 hours talking about all of that stuff. I'm currently really missing my old radio days. So the broadcast could go forever because my last radio job was 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. 7 days a week because I really liked radio when I had that job. So yeah. I'm here doing what I enjoy doing and what I think I do best. But anyway, the final advice is the same advice we've given you the last few days. Pull the red lever because you want to pull the red lever. Okay? Not because I told you to pull the red lever. Don't go vote for Trump or any Republican because I told you to do so. Go do it because you think they're the best people for whatever elected position they're going to get. Okay? And if Donald Trump came to me and said, I want to reward you for voting for me, what government position can I give you? Honestly, it would probably be dementia and Parkinson's czar because that's more important than I joke around and say I really want to be his FCC commission, his FCC chairman, so that I can usher in social media reform. I don't care about that anymore. I want to be his dementia and Parkinson's czar so I can get the truth and the good news and the best news possible about cures and whatever out to people and get it out to all of us. Okay? I had to give up my driver's license, I don't know, might have been a year or two now. I had to give up my driver's license because it just wasn't safe for me to drive anymore. All of you know that was the hardest decision I ever made. I made a living with my driver's license for 40 years. For 40 years, I thought my self-worth was all based on the fact that I could drive people anywhere they wanted to go. I used to tell people I had the best job in the world. I had a job where people would tell me where to go and pay me to take them with me. So think about it. I'm not saying I would run right back into that. Biz looked at me and said, your brain, your MRI scan shows no Lewy body dementia, no Parkinson's, no nothing. Hop in a car and drive again. No, I probably wouldn't do that. I might build a company again, but I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't drive. I enjoy being retired and sitting behind the desk and doing what I want. But anyway, as I said, I do this. I enjoy doing it. I think I'm pretty good at doing it. And anybody else who is dealing with the same things in their head that I'm dealing with, I hope you see that because I do it, you can do it. And on that note, it's 12:15 hours. I'm going to pull the plug and send you all on your way. You've been listening to Boogie with the Bull, Uncensored, Monday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. You'll be on the broadcast, get a hold of me on Messenger and let me know. Or you can email boogiewiththebull@gmail.com. BOOGIEWITH boogiewiththebull@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. I promise. Anyway, like I said, tonight, 7 p.m. on the American Rebellion blogger page. You will see me on the American Rebellion with Jerry Michaels and everyone else. And Tuesday, like I said, as soon as I know what's going to happen with who's doing the election special broadcasts, I'll either make a decision as to whether we're going to do a quick one from 7 p.m. to 8:30, and then maybe join one of the others for a little bit. We'll work out that schedule once I know what a few other people are going to do. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin. Thank you for the privilege of abusing your time. I hope that you were pretty generous. I hope that you will come back. Double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull is going to come to an end. We'll come up